You just walk out into the road, mate. Don't worry. You just carry on. I can squeeze. Oh, looks like I can. Yeah, there's a gap there. That's very nice of him. I'll go anywhere. Fucking cyclists. Oh. He's going to try and push in again later. Taxi drivers do that. It's a question of how far down he does it. Start to get moving. Cyclists. They have no care in the world. And they're old men. Well, an old man and an old woman. Not like they have an excuse for being dumb. Not doing so well at getting out today. Don't let another bus out. They've let another bus out. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Really? A car with an arse far too big for this road. He's sitting way out on the lane. Oh, cool air. Oh, glorious cool air. slick. Face off. Right, so the race then. Well, let's start at the start. It was pretty hectic racing action on that one. And okay, you probably, if you're into Formula 1, you'll probably want to know what my opinion is on that particular incident. Yeah, it's tricky. On the actual sort of looking at the incident thing, I could see the argument for he took him out. I mean, if you're going to take someone out, that's a bloody risky way of doing it. That's what I would say. I mean, not just from the point of view of the person going off, but you run the risk of smashing your own suspension to pieces and thereby going off yourself. So, clearly not a deliberate act, and I think that's where the line should be, you know? Clearly not a deliberate act. I mean, the thing is, you got that incident, which yes, could have been quite quite nasty for Verstappen. I get it. Could have been nasty for Hamilton as well. But equally, the 10-second time penalty is the same as Perez escorting another driver off the track twice. That's what it boils down to. I don't think there's any malice in it. I don't think that it was deliberate, you know, in any sense of the term, deliberate, you know. He went for an overtake. I think, if anything, from the way the teams were describing it on the team radio, he was alongside and backed off. Now I'm going to have to go and see an actual replay. To know if he was or not, but going with that, that means he was backing out of the move. So if he'd stayed alongside, would the result of the investigation have been different, and would Hamilton have been allowed to stay? In which case, why are you penalising Hamilton for trying to back out of it? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, that, to me. You're basically saying you should go full-blooded into that overtake, regardless of whether it's going to work or not. I think it was unfortunate. So, yeah, I think 10 seconds penalty was harsh. I mean, in the end, I don't think it really mattered. But yeah, I do think it was harsh. And the race kind of petered out for a bit. And at the end, well, that was jolly exciting, wasn't it? The charge from Hamilton to catch up with Leclerc. Oh, someone's gone through that. And obviously, being there at the circuit, you've got all the fans sort of willing him on. I know there were a lot of naysayers for Hamilton, but he's British at the end of the day. British winner at Silverstone. He's a good racer, it's just his politics is shit, you know? It was good and yet bad for Lando Norris. I don't quite know where he finished up in the drivers' table at this point. I've not looked at that yet. But I'm pretty sure he's third now, or at least very close to third in the title fight. Which, I mean, alright, they're a long way off the top two, I think. But even so, that's pretty damn good. He would have done better but for that pit stop. Yeah, the pit stop didn't help him in this race. I think he could have legitimately finished third. But fourth is pretty good. Fourth is pretty good for him. And then let's talk about George Russell. 3-place grid penalty, which is disappointing. His weekend started brightly with the qualifying. I mean, alright, he didn't as well in practice one, but qualifying, well, Friday qualifying, P7 in Q2, P8 in Q3, pretty damn good. Sprint qualifying, he lost a place, 9th, and then got a grid penalty. And then got a bad start. So the potential was all there, and I do think he's a very good driver. I do think he's a very quick driver. The potential is all there, but his weekend fell apart for him, which is a real shame. I'm going to make special mention for Leclerc. I don't normally do interesting non-British races, but he had a pretty good race, to be fair. I mean, I don't really know what he's like personally, I don't know his politics, and that's probably a good thing. But he did really well. I mean, the restart he took well. Let me get some fuel. I'll be back. Oh, where was I? Oh yes, Charles Leclerc. Yeah, the Ferraris were quick this weekend. Very quick. So after the sprint race, it was no great surprise that he was able to keep a good pace going. But quite surprised. I mean, he was a fortunate person in the lap 1 incident. If Hamilton had stayed ahead, I think Hamilton would have soared off into the distance in the race. But yeah, Charles Leclerc was good there, and then of course Hamilton got the 10-second penalty, so it was looking good for him really. But I mean, he was keeping pace with everyone except Hamilton. You know, towards the end of the race, Hamilton was the only one who was putting any decent lap times in, relatively speaking. He did good though. I'll give him credit. He did good. Did Charles. But Hamilton was better on the day. Would Verstappen have won the race if he wasn't clouted out? Probably. Probably. I mean, I'd love to think that Hamilton had an answer to Verstappen, but looking at the sprint race, I don't think he did. But it's good for the championship, right? 8 points the difference going into the next race. I don't know. When I've had a look at the lap 1 incident, I might do a video on it. But I doubt there's any point, really. Not as if I could change anything. Yeah, so I've had a good weekend at Silverstone, I think. I've enjoyed it. The atmosphere's been pretty good. The racing's been actually okay, generally speaking. I've quite enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the riding as well, to be fair. I know it's up and down, largely the same roads. I was trying to and vary it a bit, but there was some roadworks on some of them. And obviously when you're tired, you don't want to be taking the long route home, so there's a little bit of that, but hopefully you've not been too bored by it and you've watched through and enjoyed it and you want to come back for another one. Next adventure is probably a camping one. In terms of miles, I don't think it's as far as this, even one of the trips, but we'll see. It's a bit of a mystery location, you see. I don't know where it's going, but it is what it is, right? It'll be a good weekend and I'm looking forward to that, but yeah, there's a little bit more of this road to go, so we'll see what footage we can get, and yeah, maybe you'll enjoy that too. Enjoying their day out by the looks of it. Small trivia fact here. This is Ashbourne, and this building, as far as I can work out, was a goods shed for Ashbourne Station. That's where the station was. Trivia. Brilliant. Moving on. messed that corner up pretty badly, but this, I believe, heads down to the A6. Not a road we've been on yet, but I remember it being a little bit tricky as well, so... Obviously not here. No, there were some tricky corners later on, I think. Or was it on the A6 that the tricky corners were? Anyway, there are tricky corners. As you can tell, I'm not going to take them very quickly. It's been a while since I've been down here. One of these corners that I went particularly wide on the first time I came down here. Not sure which one at this point.
Alrighty then, I'm going to call the video there. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you got all the way through this, well done. You are pretty cool. God, that sounds so 80s. Why did I say that? Thank you very much for watching through this. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments? Please leave them down below. Any suggestions for future trips you might like to see me go on? Then, you know, as long as they're not too long. Your regular viewing will be back in the next video. Thank you very, very, very much for watching through this. I do appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now. Okay, so I've had an opportunity to look back at the video of Verstappen versus Hamilton, and I'm very much on the side of racing incident, sort of 50-50. Yeah, sure, it's an uncommon place to overtake. Doesn't happen often at all, but then Hamilton did it against Lando Norris later in the race, and he did it against Charles Leclerc, although again Charles Leclerc did go off the track, but that was more from his mistake than Hamilton's. Perhaps he was a little taken off guard by it. So it is possible to do it there, even if it's uncommon. It was also lap 1, which means they're fighting to be top of the table. You know, they're fighting to be the winner of the race at that point. You know you don't want an accident on lap 1, but that's your best chance of being in the lead. And it was a tussle that had been going on since the start line. It wasn't like there was a short break between it, you know, a truce if you were. It was constant battle. And honestly, it was lap 1. How many lap 1 incidents do we see that on any other lap would be a penalty to someone? But it's lap 1, so it's a racing incident, or it's turn 1 because it's a racing incident. I think if we're going to start saying that any incident on lap 1 should be treated as a normal incident, which I think is what some people are saying, then turn 1 is included in that. And I also think we have to be careful what we're wishing for with penalties. Yes, we want consistent rules, but at the same time, they need to be rules that are sensible.
What you don't want is to have Formula One in a situation where people are afraid to overtake, or concerned that getting it slightly wrong will be a massive penalty. Because let's be fair here. Yes, Hamilton dived in at Copse. Yes, he missed the apex. But I don't think Verstappen was going to be staying on the track anyway. And Verstappen left him room, so he knew he was there. There'd have been a much bigger crash if he just fully turned in, not expecting him to be there. So he knew he was there, even if he didn't know exactly where. So I think with all those factors in, I think we have to look at it and go, do you know what, racing incident? I'm not saying Hamilton's without blame, far from it. I don't think that was a thought in his mind. Hey, if I take him out here, if I hit his car just right, he'll go off and I can carry on and win the race. No, I don't think that was a thought in his mind. So there you go. 50-50, I reckon. But there is a larger question on penalties, and it's one that's been rising for a little while. What we don't want is every race to be Monaco. Sure, it's possible to have a safe, clean overtake at Monaco. You don't see it very often. Anyway, there we go. Finishing off a video. Ta-ta for now.